Good morrow, people of the internet, and welcome to Phoenix Wright. It's been a while, man. It's definitely been a while. Let's just get straight into this. I'm about out of breath because I ran up and down stairs. The court is now in session for the trial of Mr. Will Powers. The prosecution is ready, Your Honor. The defense is ready, Your Honor. Very well. Mr. Edgeworth, your opening statement, please. The prosecution will show the court that on 2:30 p.m. on October 15th, the defendant, Mr. Will Powers, killed fellow actor Jack Hammer at Studio 1 of Global Studios. It is impossible for anyone else to have committed this heinous crime. The evidence presented during this trial will all point to this fact. I see. Very well. I would like to move on to your testimony. Mr. Edgeworth, the prosecution may call its first witness. First, I would like to call a familiar face, Detective Gumshoe, to the stand. Detective, if you would briefly describe this case to the court. Yes, sir. I'll explain with the guidance map. To understand this case, it's important to grasp the layout of the studio, you see. This here is the employee area. The actor did a run-through of their action scene during the morning here. This is the main gate to the studios. The security lady works at the studios was here at 1 p.m. on this day. Past the security station, there is a gate, see? Past that are the studios. And there it is, Studio 1. This is the scene of the murder, where the body was found. Now, on the day of the murder, October 15th, there were only 3 people here. The victim, Jack Hammer, the defendant, Will Powers, and a young woman, the production assistant. All the production staff were in the employee area until noon. Then, after lunch, the victim, Jack Hammer, went to Studio 1. Right after that, at 1 p.m., the security lady got to the guard station. Now jump ahead until later that day, 5 p.m. The production staff came to Studio 1 to perform a rehearsal. Needless to say, the rehearsal was cancelled. The time of death was 2:30 p.m. The samurai spear found lodged in the victim's chest was the murder weapon. That's the case in brief. Anyone like to hear that again? Should I listen to the whole thing again? Well, I mean, shouldn't we cross-examine? Let's listen again. I'm sorry, could you describe that one more time? You should have known it would be you, pal. Fine, once more for the mentally challenged lawyer. Yeah. Live it up while you can, Gumshoe. Okay, we read. Okay, you're just gonna go through it again. Okay. Remember all this, guys, because I won't. This is gonna be tough, man. I can tell this case is not gonna be easy. But I think we can do it. I believe in us. This case in brief, anyone like to hear that again? Shall I listen to it again? Skip it. I think I probably remember that. So the murder weapon was a spear. How medieval. Samurai spear added to the court record. Your Honor, this case is quite simple if you ask one question. And that question is, what did the security lady at the guard station see? Understood. Let's call this security officer to the stand. Will the witness declare her name? Aren't you a handsome fellow? I'm afraid I'm a bit flustered. Your name, please. Oh dearie, no need for you to be embarrassed. Just call me Grandma. Your name, please. Seems Edgeworth has a bit of trouble getting his witness to say their names. Wendy Oldback, dearie. Just call me Grandma. So even when I was young, she said I saw my other children, so believe it? But there was this body, the captain of the junior club, he called me an old bag while I just cried, Objection! Objection! I object to the witness' talkativeness. Objection sustained. The witness will refrain from rambling on the stand. I'm just getting to the good part, dearie. Perhaps we can get to the testimony. Now, the witness was stationed at the main gate on that day of the murder, correct? Yes, see, I was. and to get to the scene of the murder, someone would have to pass it by you. You know your stuff, dearie. You may begin your testimony. She's sure one hell of an old bag. This was a Nintendo game. They allowed the word hell. On the day of the murder, I arrived at the guard station at 1 PM. Poor old Hammer and the rest had been doing a run-through there since the morning. I had some errands to run that morning. Anyway, it was 1 when I got to the guard station. I was at the main gate from then until 5. Now, the murder happened at 2:30 PM, right? Interesting to me, because a certain man walked right by me at 2 PM. It was Powers, that man right there. He was heading towards the studio. You saw the defendant then? Very well. Let's begin the cross-examination. Mr. Wright? Yes, Your Honor. I think I already know what to do here. Okay, let's just... gotta keep pressing them, that's just how we do it. So up until that time, anyone who wanted could go to the studio. Well, there wasn't a security guard at the gate, no. The main gate was locked, dear. You need an employee keycard to get in. Right, keycard that I have. So what she's saying is no one was supposed to get there, but could get in. Was there anyone at the studios when you arrived at this guard station? Poor old Hammer and the rest have been doing a run-through ever since morning. Just gotta keep pressing them. A run-through? They were working out a scene between the Steel Samurai and the evil magistrate. They got the basics figured out by noon and were to use the afternoon for practice. Rehearsal was supposed to start at 5. That's why poor old Hammer went to Studio 1 in the afternoon. So Powers was in his dressing room sleeping when he was supposed to be practicing. Talk about a laid-back hero. If there was a run-through in the morning, why did you only get there afternoon? I had some errands to run this morning. What errands? I think we need to know. What kind of errands? Oh, well, you know. Answer the question. Actually, I was watching poor Hammer and Powers. Observing, you know. Observing? When you're supposed to be at the guard station? Whippersnapper, I told you I locked the gate, didn't I? I did my job. I'm not sure your boss would see it that way. Anyway, I was always watching Hammer's run-throughs. Always. Never missed one in all my years. Wow, I went to see Steel Samurai run through too. You could quit being a spirit medium and take up guard duty. Not a bad idea. Anyway, it was 1 when I got to the guard station. I was at the main gate from then until 5. So you were watching there the whole time? No breaks? Not even a second? Of course, I'm a professional, you know. Or are you criticizing how I do my job, Whippersnapper? No, it's just after seeing you eat those donuts in the guard station yesterday. I can watch the gate and eat donuts at the same time? Snipper-wapper? Snipper-wapper? Old Windbag is losing it, Nick. Why didn't you raise an objection? So the witness was on duty through the afternoon, the whole time. Very well. What did you see? Now, the murder happened at 2:30 PM, right? Yes, it did. Interesting to me, because a certain man walked by at 2 PM. Well, there's a 2-hour break. Half an hour break. 2, you're sure? Sure as spit. Well, who was the man? Really, you should try not to get so excited at your age. You might strain something. Now, don't get your skeevies at a bunch. I'll tell you who it was. It was Powers, that man right there, and he was heading towards the studio. No, hold on a second. Powers was in a costume. Objection! Let me get this straight, old bag. Miss Old Bag. You've been saying since yesterday that you saw Mr. Powers, correct? But you're talking about the man in this photo, aren't you? Just a moment, Mr. Wright. Let me see that photo. What is this exactly? None other than the Steel Samurai, defender of Neo-Oldie Tokyo. Miss Old Bag, this is the Mr. Powers that you saw? Of course, didn't your mama teach you any sense, sonny? Anyone can plainly see that's Powers, right? Yeah. Well, I wonder. True, Mr. Powers does play the role of the Steel Samurai. But that doesn't mean Mr. Powers is the Steel Samurai. I know that. I wasn't born yesterday. No one in this court is accusing you of that, Miss Witness. He's having trouble calling her old bag, apparently. However, you do not have any proof that the person in this photo is Mr. Will Powers, do you? Nosy old man? Of course I have proof. What? Even Edgeworth is surprised. The prosecution would like to ask the witness. Please make known all the information in your possession ahead of time. How was I supposed to know everyone would be so nosy? You should be ashamed, all of you. Anyway, I showed that photo to the young detective. He told me this isn't any good as evidence, pal. He didn't even give it a second look. Wow. Old Windbag has left even Edgeworth speechless. She's good. Let's hear about your proof, then. The man in the photo. I never say anything I don't mean, mind you. That morning, during that run-through of the action scene, I saw Powers trip and fall. He broke one of his props. It was a big mess. Apparently, he sprained his ankle pretty bad. Now, look at the picture. You can see he's dragging his leg. See? Clear as day. That's how I know it was Powers. Happy? So he had sprained his ankle. Very well. Mr. Wright, you may cross-examine the witness. She's got to be hiding something. I'll press her until she squeals. Alright. I never say anything I don't mean, mind you. Just keep pressing her. Whipperstaffer? Hey, I haven't even said anything yet. I'll have you know I'm not pointing fingers at anyone behind their backs. Everything I've said is on the straight and narrow. The end. Youth today's always whining each other or pointing fingers. That's enough to make the old want to cry. Mr. Wright, please for all our sakes try not to upset the witness. I think Edgeworth has met his match. That morning, during the run-through of the action scene. Just keep pressing her. Who was present at the run-through? Very well, let's see. There was Powers, he's a Steel Samurai, and poor old Hammer, the evil magistrate, and me. What exactly were you doing? Observing. Just observing. What about the assistant? Oh, she was moving backdrops around and such. She didn't see the run-through then. I saw Powers trip and fall. Trip and fall? Yeah. Yes, and to think he's supposed to be the Steel Samurai. What a laugh. So Powers sprained his ankle. I helped to make it better for him, of course. You helped make it better? I kissed it where it hurt. Let's skip over that part, shall we? What was the assistant then? Oh, her? She was cleaning up backdrops, I think. She didn't know about Powers' ankle. You may continue your testimony. He broke one of the props. It was a big mess. What prop did he break? He broke a prop? Sure did. His own samurai spear. His samurai spear? The murder weapon. Luckily I was there with my duct tape to fix it. This strikes me as a significant detail. But better write this down in the court. Samurai spear updated in the court record. That does not look like it has duct tape on it. Can I just see the court record? The murder weapon, a break in the shaft has been mended with duct tape. Okay. Apparently he sprained his ankle pretty bad. Was Mr. Powers' ankle badly sprained? Not so bad that he couldn't walk around. He went to his dressing room to rest up after all. Thus the nap. Anyway, I saw him dragging his foot when he walked. Dragging his foot. Okay. I think we've heard enough. Haven't we, Your Honor? Well, there is one thing that bothers me, which is... Where is the Steel Samurai costume now? Well, we couldn't find it. We're looking, though. Anyway, that's not important. The witness did see the Steel Samurai, yes? And it is clear that the person in the Steel Samurai suit was Mr. Will Powers. I suppose that's right. Are you sure, Your Honor? Object. Go object. Hold it right there. We keep talking possibilities, but we have to agree that this photo shows the Steel Samurai. Nowhere in this photo can we see Mr. Will Powers. The defense has a point. I also wonder if someone else, not caught on camera, could have killed Mr. Hammer. We have to consider that possibility also. Then allow me to remove that doubt from your mind, Your Honor. Will the witness continue her testimony, please? No need to ask twice. The time of poor Hammer's death was 2:30 p.m, true? The only person I saw go to the studio before them was Mr. Will Powers. No one else went there. If they had, I would have seen them. So if no one else went to the studio, then it would have been this steel samurai who did it. Mr. Wright, you may cross-examine the witness. Well, I'm not so sure about that. The time of poor Mr. Hammer's death, 2:30, true? The only person I saw go to the studio then, Mr. Will Powers. No one else went there. If they had, I would have seen them. Where's the floor plans? Check. They went to Studio 1, correct? But the gate is there. If they came from Studio 2, you wouldn't have seen them. Objection! Your Honor, that statement contradicts the evidence. It doesn't? I don't see anything contradictory. Really? Objection overruled. Really? That made sense to me. Oops, didn't go so well. Okay. Okay, just keep pressing. How did you know that? Didn't I just explain? I gave donuts to the young detective. And then, after some rubbish about being a secret pal, he told me everything. I see Detective Gumshoe shares his fellow officer's fondness for donuts. The only person I saw go to the studio before them was Mr. Will Powers. Are you absolutely sure? Oh, quite sunny. Nobody suspicious looking passed by at all. Nobody suspicious looking? Right. No one else went there. What about before you got to the guards station? You mean before one? Why, everyone was in the employee area before then. And I locked the gate so no one could get in. Not to mention, if they had, I would have seen them. Are you sure? Objection! The witnesses answered the question. Anyone going into the studio had to pass by the witness. That's right, Sonny. You let him have it, edgy boy. Edgy boy? Old Windbag sure has balls. Well, you know what I mean. This is a Nintendo game. Old Windbag have a way of skipping over important details after all. Or, for that matter, entirely forgetting them. How convenient. Something for you to look forward to, perhaps. Time of poor Hammer's death is 2:30 p.m. True. Time of death 10:15 at 2:30 p.m. Pierced through the chest by a spear. I don't know. I don't know. Else went there. If they had, I would have seen them. Are we only the way skipping over important details after all? Or am I entirely forgetting them? How convenient. Something for you to look forward to, perhaps. Time of poor Hammer's death, 2:30. True. The person I saw go to the studio before then was Mr. Will Powers. I'm gonna present this again. This evidence clearly reveals a contradiction in that statement, Your Honor. How exactly is that evidence just now related? They aren't, are they? No. I don't know. I don't know. No one else went there. You sure about that? Present this again! Damn it. If the music doesn't change, then it's wrong. We're almost out of exclamation points here. Or should I say, overcooled. I would have seen them. I don't know. I don't know what to do. Just this there. keycard, studio employees. One's entering studio 1. I don't know. I'm gonna lose this. I'm not sure. Okay. I'm gonna save. Ooh. Okay, just save just in case. Might need to look this up. If you're absolutely sure, not quite. No, it's just looking right. That's not true though. Objection! Hold on! Look at this photograph one more time. This photo was taken by the camera at the gate for the studio, correct? Yes, sirree, Sonny. So, whenever anyone passes by there, it automatically takes a picture. And here I thought you didn't know your head from a hole in the ground. Right. Anyway, it's also true that the computer in the guard station records all security cam data. Oh, you know, if you wanted to work at the studio, you might have an opening. That very computer printed out this photo. Note on the back of the photo are printed the words October 15th, 2 PM, photo number 2. Even I know that means it was taken at 2 PM on October the 15th. Really, Sonny? Actually, I knew that too. This issue here is that bit says at the end where it says photo number 2. Photo number 2? The computer only held data for one photo on that day. Don't you think that's odd? Shouldn't this photo be photo number 1 if it really was the only photo? Order! Order! Tell the court what you mean by this, Mr. Wright. Actually, that's why I want to ask the witness. This evidence shows that no one but 2 people went to the studio that day. Yet there was only data for one of the photos, which could have erased the data for the other photo. Only someone with access, the security lady herself. You watch your mouth, whippersnapper. The only person I saw that day was Mr. Will Powers. But the camera on the gate fired twice. That means 2 people went by. Well, yes, that's what it seems to be. Can the witness explain this to the court? I don't understand these newfangled computer things. Edgy boy, help! Believe me, I want to, but I don't know what this means either. Some help you are. You're a whippersnapper too. Whippersnapper? Something the matter, Miss Oldbag? That's right. I just remembered something. Let me guess. Someone else passed by the gate. Someone other than the Steel Samurai. Well, yes. I suppose you could put it that way. I see. Well, testimony, please. Every day, after I finish my guard duties, I have one other important job to do. I'll go through the photos recorded on the security computer and check them. I throw out any photos that aren't suspicious looking, you see. Come to think of it, now I remember throwing out one photo that day. Miss Oldbag, this is the first I've heard of this. Well, of course, honey, I've only just remembered it. Right. Anyway, Mr. Wright, please begin the cross-examination. Well, I'd say this is a turn for the unexpected, but I kind of expected this. Cross-examination. The other person. Oh, I've only got one explanation point. Let me save. Okay, we're saved. Every day after I finish my guard duties, I have one other important job to do. Another job? That's right. I check all the people that passed by the main gate that day. I look closely at everyone in the photos that the security camera takes. Do you back up all the security camera data? Well, they keep telling me to, yes. But those computers are just so frustrating. I throw out any photos that aren't suspicious looking, you see. How exactly do you determine what isn't suspicious looking? Oh, you can tell by looking at their faces, for the most part. For the most part? This is a murder trial, Miss Oldbag. Well, I didn't touch that suspicious-looking Will Powers photo, did I? I think she's missing the point. Come to think of it, now I remember throwing out one photo that day. Well, who in the heck was the photo you erased? A fanboy. Fanboy? Still Samurai fanboys. Real freaks, if you ask me. They get information about the rehearsals from gosh knows where. They're always hanging about. One was there the other day. Objection! Wait a second. Didn't you just say no one else could get in? I locked the main gate so no one could get in. Those were your words. Well, if you must know, there's a drain that goes into the employee area. The gate has been loose for a while. It leads outside, and well, that's where they come in. They come in through the drain. I told you they were freaks. Oh, and? They're kids. Children. Whippersnappers. Kids! So on the photo that day, you erased... It was a boy. Probably 2nd or 3rd grade. What?! Order! Order! Let me get this straight. You saw 2 people pass by that gate on the studio one. That was the Steel Samurai dragging his leg. The other's a boy who looked about to be 2nd or 3rd grade. Oh yes. Well, see this type of thing every day. Can't stop him. Can't catch him. A boy in 2nd or 3rd grade. I assume it would be hard if not possible for a young boy to wield a samurai spear. Impossible, I'd think. It's quite heavy. Right. As I said, I didn't pay him much mind. That's why I erased the data. Nick? What's going on? I mean, the boy was there, that makes him a suspect. Yeah, and they're already trying to unsuspect him. I'd like to take a 5-minute recess. I want the defense and the prosecution to consider this new information. And no forgetting vital information this time. October 18th, 11:08 AM. District Court. Defendant lobby, number 3. I can't remember his voice. Mr. WP? Yes? Tell me straight. Were you really in your dressing room? You didn't go to the studio? I didn't go to the studio. I was sleeping, honest. So who was the Steel Samurai in that security photo? How should I know? The Steel Samurai costumes was in the corner of the dressing room. Anyone could have walked in and taken it, really. What? You should take better care of your stuff. I couldn't imagine anyone would steal a Steel Samurai costume. So, where does this leave me? It doesn't look good. You're the only likely suspect right now. Nick! What are we gonna do? First we play for time. We'll start targeting someone else that could conceivably have done this. Right. And it'll take them so long to shoot us down that we can get another day. Right. But if we pick the wrong person, we might lose on the spot. You don't sound very optimistic. I'm not optimistic at all, actually. Hey Nick, it's time. Okay, let's go. What does this mean? Please don't sigh like that. Alright. The court will now reconvene the day of the trial of Mr. Powers. Mr. Edgeworth, will you present the prosecution's thought on the matter? The prosecution's thought is simple. Nothing has changed. The other person who entered the studio was a boy, of roughly 10 years of age. The photo we do have may not be hard evidence. But there is still no one else who could have committed this crime. I call a verdict of guilty for the defendant of Mr. Will Powers. Very well. Mr. Wright, your thoughts? The defense disagrees with the prosecution's claim. There is another person who could have committed this crime. Order. Interesting. Let us hear who you have in mind. However, be aware that this court does not look kindly in accusing the innocent. If you accuse someone who is obviously innocent, you will be penalized. Right, great. As if the stakes weren't high enough. So who is this person other than Mr. Powers? The security lady. It was the security lady! Wendy Oldbag! Who? The Steel Samurai is dragging his leg in this picture. That means whoever was in the suit knew about that injury. Maybe because they had been watching the action scene run through. There was only one person other than Mr. Powers and Hammer who knew about that injury. The security lady. Old bag. What? Whippersnapper. Order. Order. Is this true, old bag? Old bag? That's Miss Oldbag to you. Miss Oldbag was standing guard, alone at the main gate. She was by herself. In other words, she has no alibi. She could have briefly left her post to steal the samurai costume. This slipped into Studio 1, the scene of the murder. Why would she go through the trouble of wearing the steel samurai costume? Simple, Your Honor. She knew that the camera at the gate would take her picture. If she was in this costume, she could point the finger at Mr. Powers. I see. Excellent deductive reasoning, Mr. Wright. Oh yeah, right there. Sherlock Holmes 2, baby. That's a great line. That's odd. Isn't this the part where Edgeworth pounces? Doesn't he usually jump on an objection in some new damning evidence? Well, Mr. Edgeworth, does the prosecution have an opinion on this matter? The prosecution has no meaningful objections at this time. What? What's that supposed to mean? Oh, so you all think I did it? Is that it? Itchy boy, don't just sit there, do something! What's my move? Maybe that's my chance to take this the whole way. Press further. The very same reasoning that makes Mr. Powers a suspect in this case can be used to cast doubt on Miss Oldbag's actions at that day. But why would I do something so horrible to poor Mr. Hammer? You forget that Mr. Powers lacks a clear motive. 2. That did it. No, Wimmerlag is one of the suspects. No hard feelings, I hope. Wait just a minute. What about the other person who went to the studio? That boy, that one whose photo I erased. He's only a grade schooler, as you said. 2nd or 3rd grade, was it? That doesn't matter. When I was that grade, I could pin an old man in 10 seconds tops. Your thoughts, Mr. Wright? That boy is not the killer. What? How can you be so sure? Or is this to be the kids, and you mean Elder's Day whippersnappers? I have proof. Proof? Indeed. And let's see this proof, Mr. Wright. You have proof that shows the court committing this murder? The spear. Take that! Your Honor. The murder weapon was the samurai spear. That very spear is shown here in this photo. How could the boy have taken the spear? It's impossible. I see. Well, would the witness care to comment on this? The windbag. Speechless. This has got to be a first. Very well. This court will suspend the proceedings of the current trial for today. Mr. Edgeworth, please find out more about your witness, Miss Windy. What was her name? Something Oldbag, Your Honor. Then the prosecution will look further into this Oldbag before we continue. That is all. The court is adjourned. Wait a second! I'm not going to just sit here while you run off barking up the wrong tree. Me, I'm talking. Oh great, stop the presses. This windbag wants to talk. Miss Oldbag, what is this all about? Have you omitted something from your testimony? Actually, if you must know, there's something I was told not to talk about. Not to talk about? But by whom? Huh, you mean it wasn't Edgeworth who told her not to talk? Well, testify. Oh god, more testimonies. Look, I'm hungry, man. I just want to go eat something. Maybe I should have eaten something before I started. Well, I wouldn't have time. Global Studios wanted me to keep quiet about something. There were some other people at the studios on the day of the murder. They said they were nothing to do with it, see? So they told me just pretend they hadn't been in the studios that day. But if you're going to go and accusing me, I'm not letting them get scot-free. Well, who was there? Miss Oldbag. This is crucial information. Why did you keep this from the court until now? Ain't you been listening? They told me to shut my trap, and I always do what I'm told. No, this isn't a bad dream, Your Honor. Witness the power of the Oldbag. Mr. Wright, your cross-examination? Global Studios wanted me to keep quiet about something. So you were told not to talk? That's right, by the studio and TV bigwigs no less. Why did I hear about this? Don't be too hard on yourself, Sonny. We're all in on it. They were some other people at the studios on the day of the murder. Who were these people? Well, the directors and the producers for starters. The director? We should have known something was fishy. How could they have done a run-through of their action scene without the director? Of course. Well, I was surprised no one asked about it. So, where were these people? The director was in the employee area all morning, for the run-through. He joined the producers at lunchtime and had a meeting after that. Where? Oh, in the Studio 2 trailer. Studio 2? There was a Studio 2? Well, if you look at the guidance map, here it is. You go through the gate and away to the left. Half of the monkey's head is fallen over. Well, Mr. Wright, would you like to continue the cross-examination? I think I've already asked all my questions, but I don't see the point. Your Honor, you have learned there are others at Global Studios in the day in question. The director and producer, and some bigwigs were all present. Yet, as we stand here, they have not been questioned. I hold it is impossible to declare a verdict on the defendant, Mr. Powers. The court acknowledges the defendant's point. The prosecution will gather more information about the witness, Miss Oldbag, and more information about these people will be other people who have just been told off. I understand, Your Honor. This ends the day's proceedings in the trial of Mr. Powers. That is all. The court is adjourned. October 18th, 1:04 p.m. District Court, Defendant Lobby, number 3. Thank you so much, Mr. Wright. I was right to ask you to defend me. Ah, really? It's nothing. Oh, or should I? Well, we'll be going down to the studios to do some more investigation. We have to find out more about this director and producer. They'll be turning up in the next trial when this was certain. So now's my chance to get material for the cross-examination. So Nick, haven't we figured out just who was in the Steel Samurai costume? Could it really have been the old windbag? What do you think, Mr. Powers? I don't think it was really her. Neither do I, Nick. Yeah, I know. Look, I was just buying time there. Someone had to be the bad guy for a bit to take the purpose. Poor old windbag. I feel so kind of sorry for her. Well, she wasn't winning any points in there without any accusation. Okay, let's go down to the studios. Right. We'll be back to visit you soon. Thanks. Thanks, guys. To be continued. Oh, that was a long one. So, we pointed the finger at some other peoples. We got Mr. Powers another day, and we can do more investigating. Found out there's more people at the studio. Next time with Phoenix Wright, we'll do some more investigations. And see ya.